Welcome back to the vlog, and welcome back here to Hoskins, Papua New Guinea, in Western New Britain, Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. We are heading out to Moke today. I've taken you guys out there before. It's been quite a while, probably almost a year now, almost, since the last time I've taken you guys out there. But it's, yeah, about a 35-minute flight, so let's go ahead and get started and get on our way out there. Igniter's on, the fuel pump on, get my fuel on and low start. We're up to 19% on the NG. Introduce my fuel into low idle. And just watching it come up nice and steady, and then going back down. That's the end of the start. Turn the igniters off, fuel pump off, generator on. Push our prop forward, let our amps spike up and down, and then throw our alternator on. Does the same. And then we'll throw our auxiliary bus on. That gets our climate controls going, which is just air blowers, they're not AC. But it still gets some air moving in here. It's already 89 degrees in here, and it's 8:47 in the morning. Fuel caps and selectors. Good, our controls are good. Our TAWs will leave enabled for now. I think we have scheduled to go out there at 8,000 feet. We don't really need to climb that high, but it does cool it off in here pretty quick that way. And I'm not very heavy today, so that's usually what I do, is just try to climb as high as I can just to cool it off as quick as I can, and then go right back down. Flaps are set, indicated and verified at 20. Our radar just turned on. All stations, Hoskins 127.1, November Tango Zulu. Taxiing Hoskins for Moke, outbound track 265. We'll be on climb 8,000. Moresby 5565, November Tango Zulu taxi. November Tango Zulu taxiing Hoskins, Moke, 1 PLB. I'm sorry, say again, reading is string 0, November Mega Zulu. Not gonna hear him. I'll call him again once we get up airborne. Alright, if we are not 50 knots by the 1500 foot marker, we're starting at the 500, so just 1,000 foot, then we'll go ahead and abort on the runway. We'll reverse, heavy braking. I'll pull off and shut off if we're going off. After takeoff, pitch for 85 knots, consider EPL, consider feather. If we do feather and go for a landing, we'll go either on the runway or up to the field up to the left. Cut off, pull off, and shut off. Emergencies, masters, and crack my door. 31 degrees Celsius, 1590 on the torque, so 1540, which is 50 below because I'm in bypass right now for the engine inlet. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. 1540, oh, I gotta get my weight real quick. 6,100. So rotate at 57 and 67 if I had to come back in. 1540. Torque is set, airspeed's alive, there's over a 50, there's 57 at the 1,000 foot marker, got some birds ahead of me, so we'll just stay down below them. And then pop up above them. So if I climb out at 73 knots, which is a pretty decently, like 12 degrees, or on my attitude indicator around that. That's going to be 73 knots. I get a little bit coordinated, there we go. We're just passing 500 feet, I'll lower the nose, start making my right hand turn out, start getting the flaps out once we get over 85 knots. There we go, over 90, we'll go 10 degrees. I'll just quickly check my wind down here, my wind indicator, just as we come through around these mountains right in front of me. It could be pretty turbulent coming through here sometimes, but there is no wind today. And then also bring our prop mod back to 2,000 RPM for our climb out, and let's let our ITT settle in at 720 degrees Celsius. Moresby 5565, November Tango Zulu, departure. November Tango Zulu, reading is strength 1, departed Hoskins, time 5.2, tracking 253, on climb below 8,000, estimating Moke, time 2.6. Affirmative, time 2.6, Moke, November Tango Zulu. No reported traffic, November Tango Zulu. Oh, that is hard to hear today. Even when you know what you're supposed to be listening to, it's still hard to hear them. Just gonna follow the coast along because I don't have my light, until I do, but it's in the way back. The light vest. If normally I would just go straight across the bay area, but we'll just follow the coast along, just so I'm not outside of gliding distance over the open water. If you guys are looking for some new sunglasses, I finally have these back in stock on my website, so go check that out. They're really nice glass lenses, and they're non-polarized. I have them non-polarized just so I can see all the screens without having to like move my head and all that kind of stuff. But nice metal frames. I've had no issues with them now and really, really enjoy them. So go check it out if you guys are wanting some that look like this. I've had a couple people ask me in comments down below, like, some questions, and some of them that keep coming up over and over I thought I'd just cover today. But one of them is like, how long have I been flying here in Papua New Guinea, and my previous experience and stuff like that before I came here, because I know a lot of you guys are interested in bush flying. It looks like a lot of fun, and how can I get a job like this, and blah blah blah. So to be honest, let's just start with that one. I don't really necessarily have any like great advice on like how to get a bush flying job, because I'm flying for a mission organization, so it is a bit different than if you were just to go find a bush flying job. Now there are some companies here in Papua New Guinea, so if you're looking to fly in Papua New Guinea, I would just go Google, you know, companies here in Papua New Guinea and start contacting them. More than likely they're going to require probably 1,000 hours of total time, maybe turbine time, I don't know. When I came, I didn't have any turbine time whatsoever. I think I had like 700 hours of just single engine time. I have my multi, but I don't have that many hours in it. And I came with a mission, so it's a little bit different because I went through all of their training for becoming a bush pilot. So it is a bit different than if you were to go down just the road of just getting a job in Indonesia or here or something. But I would say most of the operators that do this kind of stuff typically are like some mission organization. So I came at the end of 2014 and started flying in 2015, and I started actually flying with MAF because I came with Ethnos 360 Aviation, but we didn't have these Kodiaks, and we didn't have any check and training pilots at the time, where MAF was in need of pilots at the time, and they had check and training pilots. So we just worked together, and I went basically on loan with them for a year, went through all of their training down in Australia, flew the GA8 Air Van, and I flew there only for probably a couple hundred hours though, so it's still not a lot, but it still got my feet wet, and I was able to learn the ropes. And as far as like how PNG worked, how the radios worked, I started kind of downloading all of the terrain in my head as I was flying and stuff. So that was a really, really good experience. Yeah, so basically since 2015, with a little bit of time back in the States as well. So another question that I've had a lot is like, how many hours do you have? I looked the other day, it was like 2,300 and some change, I don't know, something like that. I really don't care, to be honest. But yeah, it's around 2,300. So about 1,600 hours here in Papua New Guinea, roughly. And probably about 1,400 hours flying the Kodiak, I'm thinking. So anyways, yeah. If you guys have more questions that I'm not able to get to or I don't mention in the video, there's a link below to replybank.com. It's a way that you guys can send me a direct question that you're just really, really wanting. I'll send you back a video response answer, usually within the day, unless I'm just too busy flying. I forget. It's usually within at least the day or the next day. But I send you a personalized video answering your question directly to you. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, check out that link below. We're just now passing 7,000 feet. I got another 1,000 foot to climb. My altimeter setting is flashing just because we have it set up when we pass through 7,000. It reminds us to change it to the area QNH as we're leaving Goroka. So below me right here is the town of Kembe. I don't know a lot about the history of Kembe, but I'm sure you could go look it up somewhere on Wikipedia or something like that. But yeah, this is where we go over here. If I spend the night in Hoskins, we'll come over here and they have some restaurants, because Hoskins really isn't even a town, it's just an airport. So yeah, we've got some really, really cool, right out on the waterfront restaurants, and they've got like I think it's called Willendi's, I think. It's like a dive resort out here. We went out there once on a snorkeling trip with my family up into some of those little tiny islands out that way. Really amazing snorkeling. It's just so awesome. And then they take you out to like your own personal island that nobody lives on, so really cool. The chime you just heard, that's let me know I've got 200 feet left to go before I level off at 8,000. I already have it set up for my autopilot to do all of that. But as it's leveling off, once I get up to a speed of 130 knots indicated, then I'm going to start reducing my power. So I don't want to just reduce my power just the second I get to 8,000. I want to level off, get my airspeed up to what it would be in cruise, and then reduce my power. So if you're flying a flight simulator and you're just learning things like that, that's what you're going to do. Is you're always going to climb up, level off, get your speed up to cruise, and then start reducing everything. This is the power lever here, the black one. This is the one I'm going to be reducing to get my torque down to 12,000, or 12,000, 1,250, so 1250. I just bring it back. This is Zulu, and it has a lot more adjustment you have to do to get it down to where you want it, much more than the other ones. They're all like super sensitive, so it takes a little bit of finesse to get it right where you want. So we want 1250 here, 2,000 on our prop, and then our ITT is just setting in below 700. Yeah, some of you guys have asked, is that a no farting sign? Yes, it is. It just says no farting allowed, basically, in Pidgin. Tombu long kafufu. So I thought it'd be funny. Everybody else seems to think it's pretty funny, so I'm leaving it. And when I start flying helicopter next year, I'm going to get that on the back of my helmet, because we'll have passengers sitting right behind me. So here's the airstrip chart from Moke. The elevation is 1,000 foot. We'll be landing, it's just a one-way runway because there's trees on the other end, so you can't land both ways. This time of year, let's see, it's looking like we've got winds coming out from the south today, so we'll see. We might have a tailwind on landing potentially. We'll be landing to the north. It's just a 4% slope. It's like 3% side slope, crown in the touchdown zone, and then the slope changes from 3% up to 9%, so it kind of evens out to a 4.5%. So yeah, 3/4 of the way, actually more than like even further, 7/8 of the way down the runway, it kind of just jumps up a little bit of a hill and then levels off for your parking bay. So I can land with a full up load with -4 knots. Today I don't have a full up load. Right now I'm only at 5,900 pounds. So 5,900, so that's basically 1,300 pounds under my maximum gross weight. So if I just divide that in half, that's about 6.5. So I can add 6.5 knots to that. It's just a rule of thumb. This is not like a hard cut number, but basically for every every 100 kgs, 80 to 100 kgs, or roughly 200 pounds, you can add 1 knot of tailwind for landing. So that's going to give me about 10 to 11 knots of tailwind that I can land with this weight and still be within, giving me some margin. Now, I've landed here with a 10 knot tailwind before, and I would say that's my limit because you have to come in a little bit flatter, but not necessarily, because if you come in too flat, then it'll just really push you because you don't have the inertia to come down on the ground. So, yeah. Landing with tailwinds is never fun, especially when you're coming into bush places that, this one's not like super critical, but it's fairly long, so it shouldn't be an issue. If you guys are interested in flying this exact same route on your home simulator, X-Plane, Microsoft Flight Sim, or whatever, I know that Moke, where I'm going, is Microsoft Flight Sim. I know it's on there. I don't know how great a detail it's on there. But the next place I'm going to, also Llama Guy, I just had someone build it, gave them the details and some like drone pictures and stuff, and they were able to recreate it more so than what it was in the game. It was just kind of a clear ring, and now they actually made it an airstrip, put windsocks, and made it, some of the buildings and stuff look kind of what it looks like. So if you're interested in trying some of these flights out that I do, I'll leave my link down below to the Patreon page. If you become a commercial tier pilot on there, yeah, you'll have access to, I think I have like almost 40 different sim flights all around PNG that you could try out. And we've got a couple of some really awesome places that I go to that weren't on the game that that I now have available for you guys to be able to fly into these really cool mountain airstrips. So check that out if you're interested.
Vertical track.
That's Betty letting me know it's now time to head on down. My vertical speed, turn it down to 800. Turn my altitude all the way down to 2,000. Once it starts going down, then what I can do is hit my vertical speed and my altitude select at the same time, and that will arm it. You can see up here the altitude where it's white. But basically when I get to the 2,000 feet, it will level itself back off. Just 7 minutes out, we'll go ahead and start up our checklist. Our selectors, our fuel selectors, let's turn that back on. And our brakes, our TAWs, we'll get here in a minute. I'll turn it back off when we're kind of leveled off. I don't want to have my head down doing all this stuff and turn it off. It's just not a good habit, so. Our VREF, which is our landing speed, for 5,920 pounds, so we'll be a little bit less. We're just 7 minutes out, but let's call it 5,900. So our approach speed will be 66 knots. Our lights in our inlet, we can do our landing light on. We'll do inlet when we get closer, and once our speed gets down below 140 knots. All stations, Moke 127.1, Kodiak November Tango, Zulu 10 miles to the east, passing 4,600 on descent. Circuit time, Moke 22. We're going to be landing on runway 34, so hit my OBS button here. Before I do that, I'm going to hit my heading mode on my autopilot, switch it over to heading mode, so that when I switch my course and actually turn my line here, you can see it out here, it's not turning the airplane. So let's go runway 34. Then it puts this line straight across, and once I get closer, it doesn't matter where I'm in the pattern, I can just quickly, oh, I'm perpendicular, oh, I'm parallel, because sometimes in the jungle, they're kind of down low, you can't really see them very well. There you go, now you can see it, that's what it looks like. And you can use this, you know, if you're flying in Oklahoma, Texas, where everything's flat and you can't see anything. It's a really good, easy hack just to get your runway orientation, or if you're coming up to it, you've never been there before. I've done that at a lot of airports in Oklahoma, and you're like, where is it? It looks like just like a field out here, so. 171 Alpha November Mike. 4 miles out, autopilot off. Let's start reducing our power. Prop 4 to slow down. We'll fly directly overhead and then into a left downwind for the runway 34.
Morning to Alpha November Mike. We were at runway 21,000 Hoskins 45. Request any traffic.
Pause is turned off. Lights and inlet below 140 will do that. Prop and harness we can do now.
Alpha November Mike.
There's 140, engine inlet to bypass. We've got flaps and SAR to go. 138 knots, 10 degrees of flaps.
Copy, no traffic for descent once again. 8615565, second Husky, Alpha, November Mike.
I'm going to fly out over the runway and then fly out a distance right up here, 1 mile, and then I'll turn, basically 0.9, and then I'll start my turn for my downwind. Let's see, it doesn't look like they cut it. I can't really tell from here, but does not, in some areas, does not look. I quickly buzz it, I think. We'll go around this way, come back down 20 degrees, because there's one section about a third of the way down, it does not look cut. I've got 20 degrees of flaps, we'll come down basically right over top of the trees and then drop down over them so I can get a better look at the runway. Then we'll do a 270, or basically kind of like a 180 all the back around and then just coming straight in and land. Been out here, the reason why I'm doing this is because I've been out here once before and the grass in one section was 4 feet tall. And they said, oh yeah, we just ran out of time cutting it, you know, sorry. Coming out of here basically empty and just jumping over another 9 minutes to another place. So even if it is long, depending on how long it is, I should still be able to get out of here. Let's slow it down a little more.
500.
We got big old coconut trees on this end of the runway, so it's kind of hard to get down low to the ground. All right. Okay, no, it's not bad. Not bad at all. This is one little section right here. That's only like maybe 1.5 feet high, so not bad at all. All right, we'll do just basically a big old 180 right back around, or 270, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to go up to 1,500 feet just for my turning final 500. My 20 degrees of flaps in. 0.8. I think I kind of basically want to be turning final like 1.6 to 1.8 or so. So I'm going to go out a little bit further. So I'm not turning around too soon and then shortchanging myself some space between the runway, you know? About 1,500 feet, we'll start reducing our torque. Right on back to probably 600 or so, just so I'm not keeping my speed down as well. There's 1.6, let's start turning for our base / final. Once I see it, there we go, and we'll go full flaps. Checklist is complete except for SAR. And we want 66 knots on final. Looks like I'm a tiny bit low. I'm just pitching for my
500.
airspeed. Yes, thank you, Betty. Pitch for my airspeed, power for my altitude. So I want to slow down, I just pull the nose up and then reduce my power so I'm not continuing to climb. 2 knots of headwind. I land just a tiny bit past that tall stuff. Well, it's not that tall, it's like 1.5 feet. A little bit further in than I normally would land. I'd land right about where that is, but that's all right. I'm not that heavy today. I've got 1 knot of tailwind. Basically nothing. Looks like it's really soft right there. Pigs have torn it all up, something like that. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Sure do appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And be sure to check out some of my other videos after this video. If you do like this kind of content, consider subscribing. Heading down, I've got 710 on the fuel. Our blowers off, all of our lights, everything else on. Thanks again, guys. See you next time.